A report penned in 2012 and discovered by Energy in Depth, a website dedicated to highlighting studies that show that the increased use of natural gas in the United States is actually resulting in decreased emissions, shows how anti-fracking groups were given examples of how the effective use of media has helped to change fracking regulations over blurry evidence that suggests there's a connection between the process and poor health. We're seeing fracking being banned in some states and even in some countries like Scotland at this point, in part, and at least I think, based on media sensationalism and not facts. The document was prepared for the 11th Hour Project, who are known to fund anti-fracking groups, by Seth Shonkoff, who was a PhD candidate at the University of California at Berkeley when the report was written, but is now executive director at Physicians, Scientists, and Engineers for Healthy Energy. Sounds pretty official. Everyone trusts doctors and scientists, right? But a chapter within the report dedicated to the tactics anti-fracking groups use to get their message out highlighted Josh Fox's documentary Gasland that features people lighting their tap water on fire and other antics that have been widely countered as naturally occurring by some researchers and scholars. The report goes on to suggest the effect of one-off projects such as a single scientific study out of a university destined for an academic journal will fade more quickly than a study informed and engaged with by impacted communities, popularized in the media and translated into reports and other materials for popular consumption. But then also says, the development of a scientifically rigorous body of evidence of environmental health threats is crucial to the engagement in litigious battles to drive regulation and to hold the oil and gas industry accountable for their actions. So essentially admits that there's not enough scientific evidence to come to any conclusions as to whether fracking affects health at all, and that more research needs to be completed. And although Physicians, Scientists, and Engineers for Healthy Energy describes itself as a multidisciplinary research and policy institute focused on the adoption of evidence-based energy policy, the founder of the group, a professor at Cornell University, Dr. Anthony Ingraffia, is said to be a fracking opponent and has published a widely refuted paper about methane emissions from shale gas development, resulting in more emissions than burning coal. He's also known to have activist friends in high places, like celebrity and Occupy Wall Street guy Mark Ruffalo, who's a well-known social justice warrior and anti-fracker that spouts off all of the enviro talking points to his large social media followings, including statements that Ingraffia claims are directly from him. Here he is pictured with Yoko Ono, her son, Fox, and Ruffalo. And even though Seth Shonkoff penned this report during his PhD candidacy, there's little doubt that he's employing these same tactics in his new executive director position with the group. So there you have it. Some of these anti-fracking organizations that disguise themselves as legitimate groups that do unbiased research are at the very least encouraging using the media and celebrities to focus negative attention on fracking with no real evidence. But we have to remember that the media is in the business of selling headlines. And I've told you in the past about these reports on fracking being bad for health that have been debunked time and time again by legitimate researchers and scholars. Even the Environmental Protection Agency couldn't find significant evidence that fracking affects drinking water, not to mention that fracking usually occurs at depths far below the surface, so it's very hard to make a solid case that it can affect groundwater unless it's a very rare instance. But that's just the thing. These very rare occurrences are being sensationalized to make it seem like they're bigger issues than they really are. These anti-frackers know that they can capitalize on that. What's more is that the United States comes in second for global emissions attributed to the burning of fossil fuels, mainly coal. Of course, natural gas releases up to 50% less of the emissions that burning of coal does, and the country has been switching over to the cleaner burning option in the last few years due to the increased use of fracking that's resulted in a shale gas revolution in the country, helping to lower those very high emissions levels. Look, there are some issues and risks that come along with fracking, there's no doubt, but the benefits usually outweigh those risks. There's not a whole lot of evidence underneath the media sensationalism that comes along with fracking, and until there is, then we really have no reason to believe it's as dangerous as environmental crazies would like us to. The lower emissions that come along with using natural gas over coal actually result in increased health benefits that come along with cleaner air. But leave it to anti-frackers to ignore facts and press on with their anti-oil narrative no matter what. After all, just like the media, they've got a business to run too. For the Rebel.media, I'm Holly Nicholas. Thanks for watching. Censors want to shut us down, but Ezra has a plan. Check out istandwiththerebel.com for more details and to sign your name in support.